We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 80.1 FM, KKJZ HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and now our World Broadcasting Tag Team Champions of the World and a Cruiserweight Champion.
I'm Ethan.
I'm James.
I'm Rob.
And this is episode 130 of Beyond the Ropes. We are BTR Pro Wrestling Talk. Of course, I am your host, Ethan. You can follow me on Twitter at EthanMV95 and only on Twitter at EthanMV95. Exclusively on Twitter at EthanMV95. Just to show these two guys, all right, over here. EthanMV95. You can follow James at...
Yeah, so you can follow me at JHW Reporter, both on Instagram and on Twitter. And if you do, and if you are a big fan of Ethan, like I know you all are, let me know and I'll send you the Instagram and you can get the exclusive follow and whatnot from Ethan.
And you can follow Rob at
Rob Flores Media, and Ethan loves our Truth DM messages.
Mm-hmm. Send all your R-Truth memes and gifts to Ethan.
You get automatically blocked if you send me any R-Truth messages. Thank you very much.
Do it anyway.
By the way, speaking of R-Truth, we got some breaking news this past week. Bad Bunny, global phenomenon, superstar.
The new superstar in the WWE.
He is now the WWE 24/7 champion. By the time this airs, it will have already passed. But I believe he took that title to Saturday Night Live as well because he was performing there. So maybe there's another champion. By the time this airs, it could be a new champion. So anyways, Bad Bunny did win the 24/7 championship this past week as we're recording this. Before we continue.
Sorry, I keep looking at my phone, y'all. It's a very busy episode. Just got done watching NXT, and I got lots of notes and things to say to Ethan, so stay tuned.
Awesome. I look forward to it, James. So this past, before we get into this past weekend's takeover, because it was a huge newsworthy event for sure, we do have to promote our Twitter social media as well for the show, at Real BTR Radio. Follow us there. I'm the only one who really uses it, so you'll be talking to me. All right.
We don't have an Instagram.
We don't have an Instagram.
I was saying, if we had an Instagram for the show, you can send all your memes and gifts there.
And I'd be the only one using it, so no, we don't need it. Facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes. Rob does post on there. He posts every episode on there. And of course, YouTube. Just search up Rob Flores. I think Rob Flores or Rob Flores Media. Or just search up Beyond the Ropes. You'll find over 100 episodes uploaded there. But let's talk about NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day, the alternative to Valentine's Day. The pre-show, let's start with the pre-show. We got a huge signee coming in. That's right. Did you see it? Did you see who it was?
I did. You can go ahead and say it.
L.A. Knight is officially signed to NXT, formerly known as Eli Drake. Yeah, that's right.
You calling himself?
L.A. Knight. That's right. You gotta say it like that. Come on now.
And it's kind of weird.
No, it works.
Here's why. Is Eli, what is it? Eli Drake?
Mm-hmm. Formerly known as Eli Drake.
Is that not his real name? Or
I don't believe that's his real name.
So it was kind of odd because that was his Twitter handle at what is it? Eli Scott. I'm getting confused already. Eli Drake. Sorry. It was just so confusing, and I thought LA Knight was going to be a nickname because they were using the at Eli Drake thing on the WWE socials.
Right, but some
and I
people...
think they even said Ethan or Eli. I don't know. I got confused. Like from a social media standpoint, which is the way it was introduced to me. That's the first time I saw it. Yes. It kind of missed the mark for me because like and I get why you don't change the social handle right away because if you're verified or whatever, you don't want to lose that. Mm-hmm. I just it didn't do anything for me. So that's why like I'm super confused on the name. But then when I watched NXT tonight, he did say LA Knight. But it's weird because it's not even spelled Knight with a K like a last name.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Did they change it?
It's always been L.A. Knight, like L.A. Nightlife or something.
Oh, interesting. Really?
Yeah.
I could have sworn they had Knight.
I'm pretty sure there's no K unless they changed it.
L.A. I'm
Did
going to
they
look it up
change it?
here. I'm going to look it up here. No, it's Knight.
It wasn't like that, though. It was not like that, though.
Okay, well, that's what I saw on Takeover, and it's still his Twitter handle. Still Eli
Really?
Drake. Yeah, which I understand, Eli Drake, because, I mean, wrestlers like to keep either their real name or whatever. They still keep that handle, and they just put their alternate name or whatever.
So I stand corrected. Maybe they did have it with the K.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I was just reading it without the K.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's why I kind of missed the mark for me.
Well, he's here now. He's obviously made his name in Impact Wrestling, as well as most recently NWA Power. But now he's officially signed to NXT.
At least his Twitter location says LA. I'll give him credit for that.
He's LA. He's Hollywood. What do you think his ceiling is in WWE? Do we see him going far? Do we see him maybe kind of being middle of the road?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to say with anybody. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people who are coming out of NXT are just lost in the shuffle, who get lost in the shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't see this guy being any different, to be honest with you. And I'm not just going on and on about the name.
Mm-hmm.
LA Knight is not a world champion name.
Okay.
I might eat crow for this, like, down the road, but
I don't know. You could be right. I don't know. I mean,
I'm usually right, Ethan, and I'll tell you why later.
I don't think you are, but that's okay. I'll let you say that right now. I like LA Knight, formerly known Eli Drake. I don't know. I think he's a solid mid-card worker as long as he does well in NXT. I don't know. Maybe we'll see him do something good. He's a good promo, so maybe that'll help him out in the main roster. James?
I did hear him do a promo on NXT, and it was very good. So I'm not discounting him altogether. But for those who are maybe new to Eli Drake and what he brings to the table, and I'm not really trying to put you on the spot on like purpose, because we didn't talk about this ahead of time. But what is your favorite Eli Drake match?
Sir,
is there one? I'm being dead serious.
No,
is there one that?
Honestly, there isn't one that sticks out because I haven't seen him actually wrestle in a while.
Is there like a feud or something? Because I mean, he was hyped up as like the biggest free agent, and I don't think that was just a NXT hype move. I think that was like a legitimate kind of
thing. He has a name outside of WWE. I haven't seen him wrestle in a while because I don't think I ever saw him wrestle on Power NWA.
Okay.
And it's been a few years since he's been on Impact, so I'm not too sure.
That's understandable.
I want to say he had a few with EC3 and Impact. I have terrible memory. His in-ring work is fine. I don't think he was ever really known for being a phenomenal in-ring performer.
Right.
I think he's always been known as being a good talker, a good promo. That's kind of got him, some popularity and stuff. So I think on the promo department, he's going to do well.
I think the thing is too, and I don't know if it's like, I don't, he looks like Magnus, to be honest with you.
Like who?
Magnus.
Okay.
NWA World, is he still the champion, right?
Probably. I don't know if they're doing any shows.
But I mean, but that's what he looks like. And so, to be honest with you, when I first saw it and I heard the name, that's what I thought it was. Honestly.
No, I heard the cadence, I heard the voice, and I was like, oh yeah, that's Eli Drake.
So, okay, and that's good. So he's like a unique guy to you. Like he's someone that like you can recognize and has, he has value and he can bring something to the table. So I'm all for it. I mean, I wish him the best. I just don't like the name.
Fair enough.
Maybe it's
a lot of people didn't.
I don't know.
A lot of people didn't like the name, but that's the thing about NXT names when they sign. You get used to it after a while, honestly. I think people say that about a lot of different individuals, but
Yeah.
yeah. So that was just in their kickoff show, the pre-show. Let's get over to the main show. Kicked off with I believe Josiah Williams' performance, kind of introducing us to NXT Takeover Vengeance Day, the alternative to Valentine's Day, because they kept saying that in the promo. Because we didn't celebrate Valentine's Day here. No, we had Vengeance Day. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Kicked off with the first ever Women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Finals between the team of Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez taking on Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. A solid opening match. This was, again, the first ever Women's Finals of the Tag Team Classic. And I was happy to be wrong with my prediction. I don't know why I went against my prediction or the team that I would have wanted to win. But when I thought about the way things are going, I was thinking, okay, these heels need to win, these faces need to win, so on and so forth. But of course, NXT usually doesn't always follow that pattern. And I was glad to be wrong here. The team of Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai ended up winning, becoming the first ever Women's Dusty Rhodes Classic winners.
Yeah, I don't remember. I sent you my predictions.
You picked Shotzi and Ember as well.
Okay. Yeah, and so and that's part of it, because I think, and maybe I'm just because Authors of Pain won it too once won it before.
I lied.
Right?
No, I lied. You were right. You got the Kai and Gonzalez. You were right.
I'm always right.
Well,
no, but the point I was gonna make is it's very, and again, I'm surprised that I actually picked Raquel and Dakota Kai, because I feel like usually it's kind of like a babyface thing that they win. They have the trophy celebration. They kind of overcame the heel in the final match. But yeah, I'm surprised I picked that. But I will say this, that when we get kind of talking, I don't know, do we want to talk about NXT, what's happened since, or do we want to
we can talk about what they're doing.
Yeah.
Specifically, but yeah, something happened this past NXT as well, right? With them.
Well, right. So yeah, it was a pretty good segment. So they do the trophy celebration, and they're out there along with the other winners. We'll get to them in a minute. But this segment was more or less geared and got the ball rolling for what's going to happen with the next storyline. But with Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, obviously winning the tournament, therefore getting a title shot for the women's tag team titles, which is bounces around mainly through Raw and SmackDown, but it's going to be on NXT in a couple weeks. And very interesting. They had them do the trophy celebration, and you have Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, the current champions, come out to the ring and kind of confront the Dusty Rhodes Classic winners. But I think they set up the storyline very nice, and they all of them got to talk. Shayna and Dakota kind of, they kind of crossed paths before.
They have history, without a doubt. Shayna's known to was essentially a bully to a baby face guy. Yeah,
she was down in NXT, broke Dakota Kai's arm. Nia was obviously in NXT at some point too. I believe Nia may have said something about Dakota Kai, but the wild card and the new one in the mix is Raquel Gonzalez. And it was funny because Nia Jax went on and on about how she knew and worked with Dusty Rhodes while she was in NXT, and then mentioned that she was a bad bee, if you know what I mean. So and that case could be made, but Raquel Gonzalez made it very clear that she's never met Dusty Rhodes. In other words, saying that Dusty Rhodes, while he may have met the baddest bee, he didn't meet Raquel Gonzalez. So we'll see how that plays out. Those two may match up at some point. That may be a good one-on-one match, or just an interesting point in the match when they get in the ring for that tag team match. So that's something I got excited about. Not really, I mean, I guess you can say that no one's really, there really is no build going into this other than what happened tonight. So I would say they started off pretty well. In the last episode, we did mention the viral trend and sensation that is Nia Jax's whole moment. So go back and look that up. So just to add some context so you know what we're talking about. But you know, she takes the bump outside the ring. There was a whole thing. She kind of hurt herself there a little bit. But a cheap shot there at the end by it was by Raquel, I think, saying she was gonna kick some butt pretty much. And I thought it was pretty good overall. So I'm kind of hooked into this storyline to see where it goes, especially when you have the tag team champions in Shayna and Nia, who have been going up against Asuka and Charlotte and whatnot just recently, and now bouncing around from SmackDown to Raw and now back onto NXT, where both of them started their careers in WWE. So should be fun. Should be fun to see them back on NXT again.
All right. I believe we have a couple of minutes left. So we'll quickly run through this North American Championship match. Before the match started, as The Way, the team of Johnny Gargano, of course, Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell, and Austin Theory were making their way to the ring. There was a little kidnapping that occurred backstage. Poor Austin Theory, the psychopath known as Dexter Loomis, is out here kidnapping people on live television. And, you know, Johnny Gargano, as he made his entrance, was going for the high five here. And nowhere to be found. They were trying to look everywhere. So Candice and Indy ended up going to the back, getting out of the – they didn't accompany Gargano to the ring. Of course, Gargano defended the North American title against Kushida in a stellar performance, a great one-on-one contest from these two. Ultimately, Gargano ended up retaining the title, which you and I both predicted correctly.
Of course, I'm gonna get them all right. What are you talking about, Ethan? No, I know we're running short on time, so we may save the theory thing just for the next segment, a little bit. But what is it, Kushida? Right? Is that how you pronounce it? Very, well talked about. They're even building him up and hyping him up on the next NXT show that they aired. Right, you know, the follow up after the takeover event. And you know, while he didn't win the match, it did seem like he did very well for himself with the fans and whatnot. Obviously, he appears to be have been a good worker before this match. I mean, he didn't need this match, and to work with someone like, you know, it's not like Johnny Gargano carried him in this match. So I think it'll be interesting to see, and they've kind of are throwing some other guys into the that North American title picture to kind of contest both Johnny and Kushida going forward. So we'll see where that storyline goes. We're going to wrap things up. Ethan, go ahead with the commercial, and we'll talk about Theory when we come back.
You can follow us on Twitter at RealBTR Radio, at EthanM95, at
JHW Reporter,
and at
Rob Flores Media.
And when we return, we're going to finish up this NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day discussion, as well as we're going to talk about a major return that occurred recently, perhaps the biggest return in the history of life and everything. It was like the biggest return ever, guys. All that and more right here on episode 130 of Beyond the Ropes. We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM, KKJZ HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome back to episode 130 of Beyond the Ropes. We are BTR Pro Wrestling Talk. Of course, I am your host, Ethan, joined alongside the analyst, James Williams, and our producer, Rob Flores. Of course, we are recording this remotely. I am currently inside an insane asylum here, as you can see the white walls. James is over here playing with Pokemon, and Rob is in the studio, isolated from the entire world. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter at RealBTR Radio, at EthanW95, at
JHW Reporter,
and at
Rob Flores Media.
There you go. Rob is asking why I don't have a background this time. Don't worry.
Because he's sad. We'll talk more about why he's sad later on in the show.
Well, let's talk about Austin Theory, because he was kidnapped on last Sunday. But we did get some updates, right, this past NXT episode?
So we did. So first of all, again, I kind of saw this kidnapping take place on Twitter, and I don't know. I thought I did a very good job trying to find out who took Austin Theory, but I didn't see it other than I noticed the black gloves, which is which is the thing.
Dexter Loomis.
So I kind of knew, but it wasn't until watching NXT, the follow-up show and they actually pointed out and make it very clear that it was Loomis. So it wasn't this big surprise or mystery as to who did it. But I thought it was great that Gargano and all of them came out the next night or for the NXT show with missing posters with Austin Theory on it. He could have at least been gone for another week, but they end up finding him in this white van.
How dare you want Austin Theory kidnapped for a lot longer? It's traumatizing.
I mean, if you're gonna kidnap him, I mean,
oh my goodness.
Respectfully, only for storyline purposes.
Okay.
Not normally want him, but yeah, go ahead and watch the show and you'll find out more about it. I gave a spoiler, I guess, whatever. Yeah, it only lasted a week, but I think it's neat, and I think I kind of like what they're doing, having some more people around Johnny and Candice just to spice it up a little bit. Not that they maybe needed it, but just Johnny's been there so long. He's had title runs, he's had great matches and everything. He just kind of needed. It's just kind of nice to see something more and kind of develop his character a little bit more, and then give Austin Theory a little bit of something to do too, because kind of got worried about him when he was just kind of in and out of Zelina Vega's stable so quick that I kind of didn't think we were going to see the guy again. But he's bounced back pretty nicely, obviously being in this storyline. So we'll see where he goes.
Next up for NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day, we had the finals to the Men's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Mm-hmm. Of course, the competitors were the grizzled young veterans from, of course, the United Kingdom and the newcomers, MSK, who only made their debut starting out in this tournament. So this was, I believe, their fourth match in NXT. But this was a stellar performance by both teams. Of course, GYV were in the finals last year and didn't win. So they made their return to the finals this year against the newcomers. And we both predicted grizzled young veterans. And boy, were we wrong, because MSK, they actually pulled the trigger on MSK again, who only made their debut recently, which was a good shocker. I think it's great building a new tag team like this. I mean, you have them come in, obviously. A lot of people know them from Impact Wrestling. If you're watching Impact, they were known as the Rascals over there. But they made a quick impact here, no pun intended, and essentially so far undefeated in NXT, and they won the entire tournament, and they're getting a future NXT tag team title opportunity, and they're making names. That's how you build a tag team. They're making names for themselves there, and I wonder where GYV is going to end up.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. So first of all, just with the veterans real quick, I mean, like you said, you've had them in the finals 2 years in a row, and for them not to win, sometimes you don't have to win matches to benefit or come out better because of it. So having a storyline kind of built in for those guys now, having made the finals 2 years in a row and not getting the job done, I mean, you could see them, maybe that lead to some conflict between the two, and maybe they break up. Or you can kind of see them, maybe kind of get into the tournament again next year, and maybe they pull it off, they get the victory or something. But you kind of set up a storyline there long term for that tag team. So no harm in that, I think. For this new group, what is MSK? Do we know what that stands for? I think last time we were trying to.
So I've seen people call them like must-see kids.
Must-see kids, something like that.
Something like that, but there's no confirmation on that, if that's the actual name. It's just MSK.
Well, yeah, and like you said, I mean, they're only four matches in, 4 or 5 weeks in, or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think and there's nothing wrong with that, maybe, because you can you're still building a story out of these guys and finding the direction you want to go in with them. They were on NXT, like I mentioned, part of that trophy celebration. Mm-hmm. I wasn't very familiar with these guys, so I was kind of watching that promo and stuff they did closely. They didn't get too much time on the mic. You mentioned kids there. I wouldn't call them. I mean, that might be the name of the group or whatever, but they did come across as like a bit younger and energetic. I don't know if immature is the way I want to say it, but
their gimmick and Impact was essentially they would have their backstage promos were held in the treehouse. So
okay, so it is very good then, I guess.
Well, they were, I guess, smoking stuff. So that was kind of their gimmick. So obviously they're not going to do that here in NXT, but
right.
They followed that similar gimmick. They were they're very, what is it called? Like they were rascals in NXT in Impact, so they're kind of rascals here in a sense without the name.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of like loose and relaxed. I mean it was just weird, and then you know that Big E gif where he's eating the popcorn and all that. They were doing that on NXT when Gonzalez and all them were facing off. So
Beth Phoenix was there too, right?
Because Beth was there. So, but it was just interesting. It was just interesting kind of watching them being the first time I'm really kind of seeing them. But like you said, a great way to build a tag team, put them in a tournament. You know nothing about them, but you get a chance to tell their story or whatever during that tournament, I guess, and kind of build what you want out of them. But then also it just, was I guess underdogs upset. Who was the favorite? Who was supposed to be the favorite? I mean, I guess you could say the veterans were supposed to be the favorites. Obviously, if they were in it 2 years in a row in the finals, but like you said, I think it is kind of a good thing to not only build a tag team, but you use it in a way to, make another tag team, put them on the map. They're gonna have a tag team title shot. Who's to say they don't win the tag team titles? And then where do you go from there with them?
Absolutely. To answer your question, Rob, who put in the chat, we were talking about GIFs. Xavier Woods was chokeslammed into a black hole last Monday on Raw. It was Omos, which is AJ Styles' bodyguard, because Kofi was involved in the gauntlet match that they had for the Elimination Chamber. So that happened. Of course, Elimination Chamber did happen, but as we're recording this, it hasn't happened for us yet. So we'll talk more about it next episode and all that.
We're dedicating all, if not most, of this show to NXT.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of great stuff we still got to talk about.
Sure. For the NXT Women's Championship, we had a triple threat match between Mercedes Martinez, Toni Storm, and the NXT Women's Champion, Io Shirai. Solid match. I mean, you got three great wrestlers. I don't know. But this is probably my least favorite match. But every match was really good. So to say it was my least favorite isn't a bad thing. Io Shirai.
What do we have for predictions on this?
I had Io Shirai, and you had Mercedes Martinez. So
yeah, I thought. Hear me out now. Hear me out. Let me explain why I was wrong. Because what happened? No, I just figure if you're gonna take the title off of someone as strong as Io Shirai has been with the title, but is this her second run or is this only her first run?
This is only her first run. She's had it for a while though.
She's had it for a long time though, right? I thought she maybe had it before. I just felt if they were gonna take it off of her, they were gonna do it with, a triple threat where you're not technically burying her or whatever, and have someone like Martinez win it.
Well, she's the master of the triple threat. She did win the NXT Women's Championship in a triple threat match at NXT TakeOver in your house, defeating Charlotte and Rhea Ripley. So.
Oh, that's right.
So she's a master of the triple threat, apparently.
So again, I don't know. Part of me is like, well, that would have changed my whole prediction. But at the same time, that too would have just led me to think if she's was built that strong, winning the title, it would take something like a triple threat where maybe she's not the one getting pinned for that to happen. So when someone like her gets pinned, that's if she's gonna lose in a one-on-one match, that next person up that is gonna take the title off her has to be pretty credible, or is gonna get a some sort of credibility as well. Who else did you say was in the match?
Toni Storm.
Oh, Toni Storm, who apparently is still very angry at not winning the title. And
Is
Put a
that
boot
so?
in Io's face. Yeah, she put a boot in her face.
Oh, on NXT?
Yep. Big
Well,
boot.
she was the one that didn't get pinned. So she
Makes
does have some
unfinished business.
unfinished business. Yeah, that's the right word there. So yeah. Finally, let's get into our main event, and only our main event for now, because I know what you want to talk about.
I mean,
and we need a little more time.
The real main event wasn't the main event.
Let's talk about the match first, and then we'll talk about everything that happened. Don't worry, we're going to talk about everything.
We'll get your official statement in too.
Absolutely. I'm going to need more than whatever time we have left, though. So, but let's talk about Finn Balor, the NXT champion, defending against Pete Dunne. I mean, talk about another great match. I don't know. Finn Balor can't have a bad match. Pete Dunne, I haven't seen him have a bad match.
Does look a little odd though. Like he's kind of changed his body size a little bit.
So I noticed that. So it was mentioned. Beth Phoenix, I think, mentioned it that he leaned up.
He leaned
which
up.
he did.
I don't know if I like it.
Or lean down, whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever.
But yes, I did notice that. I noticed that he had been leaning for a while, like leaning down for a little bit. But I especially noticed it this past weekend. His legs definitely look thinner.
Yeah, and because he wears the same like gear.
He wears a singlet. It's more noticeable for his legs at least.
And I don't. Well, because again, so he was, obviously he's gonna be on NXT the next night. And he's in street clothes, whatever, and he just looks, I don't know. I don't want to say he looks too small for his clothes, but he just doesn't look full like he did when he first came in. And obviously being there for years. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, he went from looking like Ahmed Johnson to looking like Rey Mysterio. Let's be honest.
I don't think that's what it is.
No, but I don't know. I just kind of you know what? When he was a little bit more. When he was full, I guess you can say. Because it's not like he was like
thicker.
Fat.
No, he wasn't. He's never been fat, but he was thick. No, he was a little thicker.
But what was I going to say?
He had some more body mass to him.
He reminded me of Taz or something, just from a body standpoint.
Okay, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
I could see that.
He just looked like a bad dude.
Mm-hmm.
But now he just kind of looks like a bad dude,
I mean,
still credible. I mean, he'd still tear my head off.
He was breaking Finn Balor's fingers the entire match. I don't know. You saw that? Like he left Balor all crippled.
Oh yeah, he had like some of them taped up. He's selling them. Yeah, they hurt.
Mm-hmm. It looked like it hurt. It hurt me. Yep. Yeah, we saw him work the fingers. Obviously, the jaw really wasn't worked on. I know the arm was worked on a bit. So I think. And
these are UK guys, so they're working like a stronger style anyway.
It's British strong style, as they're known as.
British
over there.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Finn Balor. No, I mean he worked with a broken jaw against Kyle O'Reilly a few months ago. So I mean we know how tough he is. Edge, Rob is asking, was Edge? He was watching at home. He did tweet about it that he was watching.
I thought that was a good touch as well. Just kind of throw that in there. I mean, obviously Edge showed up on the show, winning the Royal Rumble, and could still pick whatever show he wants to be on. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was good that they played it up. And what was it, Finn who sent out the tweet, and then you kind of had Edge like with the photo saying, "Yeah, dummy, I'm watching," and that's what I thought was great.
So let's talk about Cameron Grimes before. So we'll save the end till we come back. I am curious about Cameron Grimes. When we return, we'll talk about what happened after the match. Finn Balor did win, by the way, but we'll talk about the events after in the next segment. But Cameron Grimes, he got a music video on Takeover, which is great. He did. We didn't talk about it, but he did invest in some stocks, like a lot of people did. The GameStop.
So they played up on it then. So they kind of,
because the stocks went to the moon, and Cameron Grimes has been going to the moon for a long time.
Oh no! Don't get me wrong. I've been telling you this since the first time I saw the promo, I said, he doesn't look like anything special. I mean, he looks like Hacksaw Jim Duggan 20 years younger, but
Oh no,
but there's something about him, and you could tell his stock was on the rise.
Mm-hmm.
Pun intended. I'm totally being punny right now, but he, I think I kind of like it. I saw the music video today, and I was like, I don't know what this is or what they're doing. I thought he won the lotto or something, but
it's all the stocks.
It looked like Rob put in the chat, new Bradshaw. It reminded me kind of like a JBL in a way, like very kind of cowboy country-ish. And then all of a sudden he's coming up on a little money, and he has this fast car, and
mm-hmm.
he had his shirt off maybe a little bit more than I would have liked, but
he's the richest man in NXT. Come on, James.
Apparently so. I mean,
I should have invested in some stocks. Why didn't we invest in stocks?
It's a nice development with the character, considering where it was. You knew it was kind of going somewhere, but now you're kind of seeing the wheels go, and they are kind of pulling the trigger and giving it a full go on him. So I'm with it. I'm behind it.
Did anything happen on NXT? Because I haven't seen NXT yet.
With who?
Grimes.
I'm just assuming it was the same music video, more or less. Did they show something about him crashing that white car?
That's new. That wasn't there.
Okay. I didn't know if that was new or not. So he crashed the car, but he didn't seem too worried about it. Like, he's like, oh, I got all this money. I'm not worried about it.
He can buy a new car. He's going to run through that money so quick.
But just looking at this video, first of all, so it's just funny because you hear these backstage stories before on podcasts and stuff about how they'll use real money, or their Vince will say, go get $10,000, use it for this shoot. So there's $100 bills that he's flashing. There might have been some 20s, but there was a lot of $100 bills. I saw one of them get burned. There was he was holding a burnt $100 bill. I was hurt. And there was another one that was floating in the water. I don't know who puts a crisp $100 bill in the water and lets it float around, but those things happen. You can do that when you make Cameron Grimes money, apparently. So.
All right. So when we return, we're going to finish talking about NXT TakeOver and all those events, and whatever else we have to talk about right here on Beyond the Ropes.
It's going to be so much fun, y'all. Stay tuned.
We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM, KKJZ HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome back to episode 130 of Beyond the Ropes. I'm your host, Ethan, joined alongside the analyst, James Williams, and of course, our producer, Rob Flores. We're finishing talking about NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day. Of course, Finn Balor retained the NXT Championship. However, after the match, Oney Lorcan, Danny Burch, the NXT Tag Team Champions, along with Pete Dunne, ended up attacking Finn Balor. But of course, coming to the save, apparently Rob has gone NWO for life, but coming to the save, the Undisputed Era came and made the save, took out Burch, Lorcan, and Dunne. And it looked like they were welcoming Finn to the Undisputed Era for a second. And then out of nowhere, boom, Adam Cole super kicked Finn Balor. Obviously, that ended up causing a little tension there.
And so first of all, your thoughts on that part right there in itself. Did you really think it was going to happen? Were you...
So I didn't see it live. I didn't see it live, so I unfortunately didn't get to enjoy it in the moment and just think, oh, this is happening. I did hear that, what happened after, so I was like, okay, I knew it was coming. So I would have liked to have seen it happen because I thought I thought it was cool. I thought it would have been a good moment and a good thing for all guys involved. Obviously, it didn't happen, and it caused a little rift there. And ultimately, we got to see Adam Cole kick Kyle O'Reilly in the face as well, leaving Roderick Strong in the middle of the ring, standing alone, and Adam Cole walked away. And I told you guys I would give my statement regarding that because I know James is very happy and Rob is very happy, and all I've got to say is it's about time. I think it was the right thing to do, and it's undisputed for life, undisputed forever. It says so on the shirt. So it doesn't matter whether they're their teammates, their opponents, their enemies, their best friends. I wish them all the success. I know events unfolded in NXT where it happened again, and I'm okay because we need to get Adam Cole the NXT championship back and the greatest wrestler alive, and Kyle O'Reilly's a star. Roderick Strong's a star. Bobby Fish, who is currently injured, is a star. That's okay. They're all going to be successful, whether they're together or apart. Undisputed Era will reform one day, and I know this is not the reaction you guys were expecting, but I'm okay with it. I'm ready to see Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole have match of the year.
Wasn't.
I want to see them have match of the year.
So it wasn't the reaction I was expecting, and I knew you being a working man and all probably weren't going to catch it live, so I did not want to text or bother you with any of what I had seen. A little shocked again by your reaction, but at the same time, like I've been telling you for a while now, they were going to break up. It was only a matter of time. I
don't think you said that. I think I predicted it, before you did, but it's fine.
Nope. I've been saying this for months, at least since the beginning of the year.
That profile photo. Get that profile picture.
I've said it since at least the beginning of the year that they were going to break up. One, because we did our title predictions, and I said Adam Cole is going to get called up after WrestleMania. He's going to finish the end of next year as the Intercontinental or U.S. champion. So with that being said, wasn't surprised by the breakup. I think we will get a match of the year candidate out of O'Reilly and Cole. I think they will go
add Finn in there. Make a triple threat. Add Finn in there for the NXT title. Make it a triple threat at Mania. Do it. NXT title.
Yes and no. I don't know if it's gonna be at Mania. It would be at the Takeover at Mania.
There was
they might. I mean, if it's gonna be a 2-day show, maybe.
There was speculation the NXT title could be defended.
Okay.
I mean,
I wouldn't be against it, especially with a match like that. But
of course, I will admit, I was heartbroken on Valentine's Day, but after thinking about it, letting it absorb, I'm gonna accept it. One day they will all be back together, and hopefully this is just a setback.
Did you see, or are you aware of what happened like the next night, or what happened today on thing?
Adam kicked O'Reilly and then attacked Balor and then held the title up, right?
Yeah. So he made it very like apparent or whatever, like that they're done.
But he didn't touch Roderick, so
he didn't touch Roderick. Roderick appears to still be in the middle of all this, and I'm not sure where he. So the thing was, I believe O'Reilly and Strong both wore Undisputed Era shirts throughout the show. They were seen in the parking lot, kind of going back and forth. Riley's still looking for some answers, I guess. So I found that interesting. I just don't know where Roddy is on all of this. It was interesting to see Finn Balor come out in the show, early in the show when O'Reilly was calling out Cole. Strong was out there with O'Reilly, and they were talking, and then Finn comes out. So it looks like whatever's going on with Finn and O'Reilly's not done. I think you're right. There's a possibility we get Finn, Cole, O'Reilly. Who gets the title? Who wins? What early prediction? How do you think this is going to play out? Because I think Cole's obviously. I think this is a main roster call up maybe for him after this.
I think he gets the title back. And then I think O'Reilly. I think O'Reilly wins it from him.
So you don't think O'Reilly wins it at WrestleMania?
I think Cole wins it back. Finn may end up going back to main roster. And then we get O'Reilly and Cole for the summer. Give them a 3 takeover, kind of like the Ciampa Gargano feud.
Yeah.
Where they just feud for months and they trade wins, and then maybe O'Reilly ends up with the title. And then maybe we see Undisputed Era get back together. Maybe they reunite somehow, or maybe we do see Cole move up.
So where do we think this leaves Strong at? Because just like on tonight's show, NXT show, he looked like he was like stuck in the middle.
I think it's gonna end up being a Civil War type thing in the Undisputed Era, or maybe he joins either one or the other, and Bobby Fish comes back and maybe he joins one or the other. He is injured right now, so I don't know how long.
I mean, is the Undisputed Era done? Like right now, are they gonna stop wearing Undisputed Era shirts?
I don't know. That's the thing. It could be like a Civil War type situation.
Yeah.
Where there's Undisputed Era still, but there's obviously.
Are they?
Maybe. I don't know.
It's one thing if you kick the man twice, but when you kick him twice.
I will say Adam Cole
did not only did he kick him, he suplexed. He did a suplex on the steel steps.
Well,
and he injured himself and he injured himself in the process. So he said this is what needed to be done.
You know what? I'm not gonna.
So that's your evolution.
I'm not gonna be upset.
That's your evolution dump right there.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sold that Roddy is. When Evolution did it, Evolution made it very clear that this guy's out, and the three of us are still together.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like that with this. You have Roddy in the middle, just like unsure of what's going on. Like, I don't know.
We'll see. I guess we just got to keep watching.
I guess.
Of course, Undisputed Era. NXT revolves around the UE always, right here.
But
just right there. Just so you guys know, Undisputed Era forever.
I will say this. I enjoy the storylines that are going on right now. Obviously, some good stuff that we've just talked about. Still losing in the ratings, though. I have some numbers. If we're gonna look at the February 10th show of NXT, which was the last one, the go home show before this takeover event on Valentine's Day, only 558,000 for NXT compared to AEW, who had 741,000. So,
it's about 150,000.
The gap is a bit. I don't want to say. I mean, it's not massive, but it seems to be very stable. It seems like every week it's just going to be a split. Or it's just going to be in favor of AEW, and it's not like NXT has anything bad to offer.
I don't know. I don't
know.
At this point,
to be fair, another point why I'm always right, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned this last week or the week before. I told you the Undisputed Era does not draw ratings, and
were they even on last week? I don't think they were.
What?
They weren't. They weren't on the go home. They draw ratings.
No, but before that, that's what I'm saying. They can't draw ratings, so they don't even put them on the show.
No.
Thinking it's going to help boost the numbers.
It was the lowest rated NXT because they weren't on the show.
Hear me out now. Hear me out. Coincidence or not, but since I've mentioned that, within the last week or two, they've broken up. I think they're listening to the show, and they like what I had to say.
They're not broken up.
And I influenced this Undisputed Era breakup.
I don't think you did.
Even though Kyle O'Reilly mentioned on NXT tonight that he thought they were going to be the one group that was going to last forever and weren't going to break up. Very sad.
They're not broken up. They're not broken up. Let's talk about a big return, though.
You think they fixed this? You honestly think they fixed this?
Yes. Let's talk about the biggest return in the history of wrestling.
I thought it was going to be Adam Cole, but apparently it's not. Go ahead. Seth Rollins, you said?
Seth Rollins has returned.
Yeah, we knew this.
It was the biggest return. You didn't know it. You couldn't remember. He returned all
'cause it's
leather.
forgettable.
No, you have amnesia. I don't know what you're talking about. He returned in an all leather suit. He returned with his old theme music, "Burn It Down,"
Okay.
which people liked, which I didn't care for, but that's fine. He's no longer. I don't think he's going under the Messiah gimmick, but he is going with the "Embrace the Vision" gimmick, where everyone was around the ring, and he was talking about the birth of his daughter, and giving a heartfelt speech, and how everyone needs a leader like Seth Rollins, and of course all those phonies just left the ringside, and I think we need to start embracing the vision, guys. It's about time.
He's just a dad. What are we getting out of Seth Rollins here? Is he going to be working heel, babyface? I guess it's seems kind of heelish, right?
I mean, he's a good guy to me.
I mean, yeah, to you, but but to the general audience.
Well, most of the people are idiots, so it doesn't matter.
Well, there goes our rating. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I don't know. What the Chamber's gonna have already happen, but what
who is Edge gonna choose? Is he gonna choose a loss at WrestleMania by going against our tribal chief?
I still think that's the move, though. Actually, before we get into Elimination Chamber, can you fill me in?
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Can you fill me in on this Escobar and Cross match, because that was supposed to happen, I guess, at NXT tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Santos or Escobar, what is it? Santos Escobar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Took his ball and went home tonight and said he wasn't going to have the match. He was going to do it on his time and not go against Cross when Regal said. Regal did say after watching that video that he was going to strip Escobar of the title if he does not. He's going to strip Escobar of the title if he did not defend it next week.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the title, he's the Cruiserweight champion, the title is not going to be on the line in the Cross match. But because he would be suspended, he would therefore lose the title. And they even mentioned that Jordan Devlin, who's also the Cruiserweight champion, would be very happy with that result if that were to be the case. So I thought that was kind of interesting that, one, they brought up the Jordan Devlin thing, acknowledging him still as a champion, and probably rightfully so, but maybe that's how they get themselves out of this angle. I don't know. But again, I'm just kind of curious. So is there some background you can tell us on this Escobar and Cross matchup? Because I really didn't. I mean, it seems good. I mean, I've heard great things about both guys. Didn't really know they were going in a feud. And once I kind of heard it was off, I was kind of mad that it was supposed to be happening tonight and it's not. So.
Karrion Kross just kind of started targeting Escobar.
He's just targeting random guys? Because it's not like he's in the Cruiserweight division, right?
Basically, at this point. He's not in the division, but he just, random guys, I guess. So Escobar was his next victim.
Okay.
And he's just kind of feuding with them. I mean,
yeah,
they're essentially just keeping him. They're keeping him out of the NXT title picture, especially with the whole Undisputed Era now thing. It looks like they're just pushing that back, further. So he's feuding with Escobar right now. That match is scheduled to happen next week, I believe now. So
I guess I'm just kind of curious to see, like, what, if they are let's say they are keeping him out of the title picture. You're keeping him out of the title picture, but the title picture seems rather kind of full and interesting at the moment, just with the Undisputed Era. Finn Balor, Pete Dunne is still in that mix. I don't know. Is there a room for Karrion Kross? There is. He deserves to be in that mix, and he will. It's not like he's out of the picture, but is he I don't know if he's even like the next feud after WrestleMania for the title. I don't, It just
I don't
seems like
know.
this is a story that's going to carry on after WrestleMania, but with the Undisputed Era and everything else.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So how long are we holding Cross back? I mean,
He might
maybe
get
we
called
don't
up.
even get Cross, huh?
He might get called up sooner.
That's what I was about to say. Maybe he does. I mean, he's already going back and forth with Randy Orton on Twitter. Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
I'd be interested in seeing that. It's kind of random. I mean, again, you could start a storyline off of Twitter beef. I mean, at this point or whatever.
It's happened.
I think that'd be great first feud for Cross in on the main roster. I don't know. I guess Cross would be a babyface. I guess maybe.
No,
I mean,
he's gonna be a heel.
I mean, Randy could be a babyface, but I don't think a lot of people care for babyface Randy Orton. Randy Orton's Randy Orton, but babyface Randy Orton is not at his best when he's babyface Randy Orton.
True.
So,
all right, we got a minute left, right? So,
I have a question. Are they married? Cross and what is her name?
Scarlett.
Are they like?
I know they are together.
Yeah. Are they like?
I don't know.
They are together, right?
They are together.
Okay. I think we probably talked about it before, but just their chemistry and the way they interact, it just seems very realistic on screen. Mm-hmm. So I was just curious.
Absolutely. But yeah, any other news to discuss? We got a minute left. Any last minute?
I forgot who was on a podcast. Kurt Angle was on a podcast and talked to. I don't know what podcast it was or whatever, but he said something about Cedric Alexander was in the doghouse with Vince. They had some argument. They gave him a hard time about it for over a year or half a year, whatever. But thankfully has been able to be put in the hurt business and is been kind of given a new opportunity. But sounds like Cedric was down pretty bad a few months back in the Vince McMahon doghouse. I guess Vince told him to do something in a match and didn't do it. And Kurt Angle said he didn't think that Cedric was going to recover, but he obviously being in the hurt business and having some spotlight put back on him, he's kind of gotten a second chance. But that was a story that I found interesting a few days ago. So nothing other than that.
All right.
Yeah.
So wrapping up. Thank you for.
Sorry about your Undisputed Era, guys.
You know what? Undisputed forever. Until then, this episode has been too sweet.
Too sweet. Can I burn your Undisputed Era shirt?
Nope. Right there, forever.
He said nope.